Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to upload a book onto IngramSpark, but just to print, not to sell it. So by now you would have already made your IngramSpark account. If you haven't, just select Create Account on the home page. It will ask you some questions. It will ask you for tax information. And of course, it will ask you to keep a card on file. Please do not panic about this. This is just so you have something to charge revisions to if you ever revise your content outside the 60-day revision window after you first publish, or if you accept returns, which we don't really have to worry about in this case because you won't be distributing your title, so you don't have to worry about it getting returned. So once you have an account, click Login in the top corner, and then you will be brought to your homepage. Your homepage is located up here. It has shortcuts to other parts of your account. I am currently on the titles section where you can see some of the titles I have loaded and some titles that are not yet published. I have one here that's in processing. So today I'm going to be showing you a title that I plan on just printing. It is a companion guide that is going with my most recent Kickstarter, and I just want to print it to be able to mail it to the people who ordered it. So like with any title that you are distributing, you would click Add Title either over here or over here, and you would get taken to the title upload page. Again, you would choose Print Book Only. In theory, your files would be ready to upload. If they're not, don't worry. You can still say, yes, all my files are ready, and then you can still submit your files later. I know they give you the option here, but once you get to that file upload page, you can just save and exit anyways. So it really doesn't matter which option you choose here. I always just choose, yes, my files are ready. So then it asks if you have your cover and your interior file ready. Again, you're going to want these to be PDF. Please make sure you're not trying to upload a JPEG as your cover, and make sure as well that you are using the template, the cover template creator. You can find that down in Tools and Resources. It is very handy and it will help you make sure that your book is formatted correctly, that your cover is formatted correctly, and it will print correctly. So from here, we have the option to print, distribute, and sell the book, or just to print the book. In this case, we're just going to print it. So you select only print book and then continue. Then, like with any title you're selling, you would be brought to the title information page, but it's going to be a little different. They're not going to ask you as much. They're not going to ask you as many questions because they don't need as much information. So you would enter your title, the language, the ISBN. I mentioned in the last video that you will have the option, if you are in the US, to have a free ISBN from IngramSpark. I believe they are still offering that. There are pros and cons to using free ISBNs or paid ones. If you use a free one, you can only use it on IngramSpark. So if you have a book published through KDP and then the same paperback or whatever published again through IngramSpark, it will show up as two different books on Goodreads. It might show up on the same book page, but it will show up as two different editions. So if you want them to all show up as the same edition, you do have to use the same ISBN as well. If you use a free ISBN, it will not show your imprint name. It will show the imprint name of whoever owns the ISBN, in this case, IngramSpark. So from there, once you've done that, they don't ask you the copyright question here because it's not a book that's going to be sold, so they don't really care. So from here, you have the authors and contributors. I do have a co-author, so her name is here. If you've published something that maybe has illustrations and you want to add the illustrator's name, or you really want to add your editor's name, you can do all that by adding a contributor. If you accidentally click that and you don't actually have someone you want to add, do make sure you click the little bin button. Otherwise, it will ask you to fill that information out because it will have the red star. From here, you can either select large text edition, right to left content, or neither. In this case, this doesn't apply to either of my books. Then you are asked for the imprint. If you have loaded an imprint name when you made your account, you would select that here. Otherwise, you can just have your name. Then they do ask for a genre. I think this is just for their own categorization in their own, database. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to be selling it. So I would select fiction because that's what mine is. From here, you would select the trim size. This is the size of your front cover, not your full wrap. So in my case, this is just a cute little guide. So I'm doing a small trim size, 4x6. And I also want the interior to be color. You are, of course, given a black and white option. Mine is color, and I want it to be printed on color 70-pound weight paper. This is just thicker paper. It just works a bit better. If you go with premium or ultra premium color, it does cost quite a bit. So I have found Even the color 50 is thinner, but I've never had any problems printing full page illustrations on the color 50. So you can go either or here. I've decided to go with the color 70 just because my book is small and it's not going to cost that much to print anyways. So because of the trim size, my only option is a paperback. The smallest hardcover option they let you choose is 5x8. And then if you do hardcover, you have to select white paper. They do not let you use cream for that trim size at hardcover. I don't know why, they just don't. But in my case, I only need paperback anyways, and then I have my cover finish. I mentioned this briefly in my last video, but when you select paperback, they do ask if you want it to be duplex enabled. This just means that you can have the option to have like a picture or some text or whatnot printed on the inside of your cover. It looks great. I did that for my Kickstarter for the paperback version of my omnibus, and it looks wonderful. I'm not doing that in this case, so I am choosing no. It does come with an additional cost. I can't tell you how much. I'm not sure if it varies per book, but it does raise the cost a little bit. In this case, I do not want to duplex enable my title, so I would select no. I would add the page count. Now, this is the total page count of your PDF file. It is not, the max number you see at the bottom of the page. It is the total page count. So when you have your PDF open, the number you see at the top. Then the market you want to base your pricing at. I do use the United States despite being based in the United Kingdom. I think most people use the United States as their base, the US dollar for the base of their pricing. So you would choose that, and this would tell you the print cost per book. You don't have to worry about adding pricing because you're not going to be selling it. All you have to worry is how much it will cost to print each book. So once you've added all that information, you would click continue, and you would get taken to your title upload page, your file upload page. And here you would upload your interior and your cover. If you have done jacketed case laminate, say you wanted a dust jacket with a naked hardcover underneath, there would be 3 options in terms of files to upload. You would upload the interior, then the naked hardcover, and then there would be an option for dust jacket. In this case, I'm just uploading an interior file and a print cover wrap. If you were doing a duplex cover, this would be a bit different. You would have to upload the cover and the underside of the covers as one file, but it would be 2 separate spreads. So you would have to have the capabilities of combining 2 separate PDFs. If you are using a cover designer, they should be able to do that for you. If not, you can use Adobe Acrobat for this. That is a great program for being able to do all these finicky little bits. So please do make sure again that your cover is a PDF and not a JPEG. Also make sure that your files have different names. Please do not try and upload 2 files that have the same exact name. It will confuse their system. So once you've uploaded, click continue. I'm not uploading my files yet, but you would click continue. It would take you to the next page where they check your files over. They tell you if there are any problems with them. And then you can, of course, go back and re-upload them once you fix them. Or if it's a problem Ingram says they can fix, you can check a little box that says, yep, you can fix it for me. And they will do that. Please keep in mind that most of the errors you will get will say something along the lines of resolution. Either the images in the book are really low resolution or they're really high resolution. If it gives you the low resolution warning, just go back and make sure all your images in your interior, if you have any, are at least 300 dpi each. If it gives you the error that they are ridiculously high resolution, this can happen sometimes even if all the images are 300 dpi. For example, if you've blown them up really large, I've had this happen. Every single time I have just told Ingram to deal with it, and I've never had an issue with how they've printed. I do obviously recommend getting a print copy just to check it all over, make sure it hasn't printed too dark, that none of the pages look wonky, just to make sure it all looks as you want. They will, of course, once you've gone through the checks and you've uploaded and you've submitted it, they will send you a digital mockup, which will appear here under the pending approval tab, where you can then download a PDF of the mockup and scroll through it, make sure it all looks good. I highly recommend you take the time to do this, make sure none of the text looks wonky, none of the images are cut off, and everything looks as it should. From there, you can then approve it, or you can upload revised files, or you can reject it and ask for Ingram's help. You can also, of course, contact their support at any time using the button in the bottom right corner that says support. Otherwise, that's all you have to do to upload a book that you just want to print. It does take about 2 weeks for their initial upload time for them to process the file and send you the mockup. They say 3 to 5 days. take that with a grain of salt. I have found it tends to take about 2 weeks. In some cases, it is absolutely quicker, but generally it takes about 2 weeks. Revisions are a lot faster, and you do get a 60-day revision window after you publish your title for the first time where you can revise files for free. This is great. This is another thing they recently changed. It used to be that it cost money to upload and every time you wanted to revise your file. So now they have really relaxed that, made a lot of it free, which is great because it's now in better competition with other retailers that have already offered free uploads. Now, say you uploaded a book that you just planned on printing and down the line you plan on selling it. Don't panic. You do not need to re-upload it. You do not need to add a new title. You do not need a new ISBN. You can go to your titles page, and from there you can select the title that you were printing that you now want to sell. In this case, I would select this one. I am not going to be selling this one. This was for a Kickstarter, but just to show you an example. From here, you would just need to add in all the information that's missing. So if you go over to the print info tab, it will say enabled for distribution. No. Why can't I enable? If you click that, it will just tell you what's missing. So I have to make sure I have at least one category. It needs a book description and it needs pricing. So you would just go back and edit that information. The print pricing, please do keep an eye on the little save button, which can sometimes get hidden under this scrolling area. So once you've added all that, make sure you do scroll up a bit until you find it and click save, because if you do not click that save button, it will not save if you move off the page. But once you've added all that information, you might sometimes notice that it still says no. Just give it a few minutes, refresh the page a few times. It will end up showing a slider then instead of just a no. It will show no on a slider, which you can then click and it will say yes, and then it will start to ping it out to retailers. So that's all there really is to it in terms of uploading a title that you want to print. It's not hard. It just takes a little getting used to, and that's all there is to it. So once you've done it once or twice, I promise you'll start to find that it is a complete breeze and you will have no issues at all. If you do, contact their support. They are very helpful. They might take a little bit of time to get back to you. If you are still struggling and you just can't figure something out, feel free to leave a comment and I can absolutely offer you what advice I'm able to. So that's all for this video. Stay tuned for my next one where I will introduce you to Kindle Direct Publishing, also known as KDP. I will take you on a tour of their platform and show you what you can do over there. See you then.